And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. Oh boy. On today's video, what do we do? This is another Thursday in the books. Here we are. Early October 2025. Um I'm a man of integrity, whether some of you guys out there believe it or not. Most of you guys are gonna say, "Ha, shut up, PK." No, you shut up. But seriously. Some are gonna look at the title of this video. Don't be sad. Pokemon Modern Investing is over. Some people are going to accuse me. They're going to say, PK, you just created that thumbnail without a video topic in mind, didn't you? For those people, I would push back and say, shh, that's probably the case. I probably made that video, probably made that thumbnail, and I was like, oh, that that one will be pretty nice of a thumbnail to get people to click on this video. Now I just need a title to go along with that thumbnail. So, with that said, here we are. We still booming? We still booming. It's crazy. Every day I wake up, I kind of pinch myself. I just want to let everyone know, just so you guys do know, I do Thursday night lives. I am going to be transitioning out of Thursday night lives. The Thursday lives will still happen, but they will probably very, very soon, they will be Thursday midday lives. So I still will be making content. I haven't figured out a time. Shout out to Tap for being a member for 12 months. I'm now going to be streaming on Fanatics on Thursday nights, but it's not going to affect there being alive. It's just the time will change. It'll still be alive. I'm transitioning. So right now we don't have it where I can be live, but very, very soon, hopefully this month, but probably definitely starting in November. I'm going to be streaming 17 times a week. You hear that number? I'm going to be live 17 times a week. That is a big number when you say it out loud. But honestly, we are living in a market that I can't not be live that many times a week. So, with that said, I'll be live 16 times a week on Fanatics Live. I'll be live 3 times a day, Monday through Friday, and then I'll be live once a day on Saturday. So that's 15 times live Monday through Friday, once on Saturday, and then so that's 16 total, and then I'll be live once a week on YouTube. So that will be 17 times a week. I will be live. I'm still waiting. I would have been live tonight. I still haven't got the total confirmation that the new schedule is gonna. I didn't get the green light for it yet, but that is going to be transitioning very, very soon. And why am I doing that? Because this hobby allows it. That's it. This hobby allows a lot of stuff right now. So, you gotta sometimes take the bull by the horns, both figuratively and metaphorically, and you just gotta ride the wave. I don't know how long whatever this is, I don't know how long this lasts. It's already maybe lasted a little longer than a lot of people thought. I watched the Pokeflips podcast today. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I promise you, Dan and Josh and Nick, they were saying, well, if anybody believed in it, they would have just gone all in. And he's like, but no one does that. And Dan's like, yeah, I would love to see the people's receipts. And it's like, I almost laughed when I heard Dan say that. I'm like, Dan, bro, you know I went all in. Like, chat, I'm all in. I quit my job. I'm full-time Pokemon. I have no money anymore. Now, I have no money because everything's gone to zero, but I have no money anymore because I've just been buying stuff. That's it. Just been buying. I have no funds. I've gone all in. I've gone all in. I don't even know what to say. Dan knows this. So for him to say that on the live, like nobody has gone. Listen. I've gone all in. There's no more deeper I could go in right now. So, before the boom was going on, like, on a good month, like, sometimes I would send 100 cards away for graded. Sometimes. And other times I would send less than 100 cards a month. Sometimes I would go an entire month without sending cards away for grading. In the last, well, I was going to say in the last 2 months, but really since early September to now, I've sent 3,000 cards away for grading. Today, at the time of recording this video, I made another 400 card submission. Shout out to Son of Mewtwo gifting the 20 PK memberships. I'm grading more than I've ever have in my entire life. 3,000 cards in the last little over a month. 400 cards today, like I said. I'm all in. I have been buying more than I've ever bought in my life. I've been selling more, with that said, too, in my life. Turning and burning. It's just, I don't know how much more. I don't know what I have to do to eventually get a call out from Nick and Dan and say, if anybody really believed in this, they would have went all in. It's like, I got the receipts. Dan, I will show you the receipts. Dan, if you're out there, you probably will watch this. I promise you, Dan. I got the receipts. I will give you those receipts. If anyone knows I'm all in, it should be Mr. Dan. Catch 'em all collectibles. I believe in it. I'm all in. I do still pay my mortgage. Other than that, I'm all in. I'm all in on Pokemon. Now, the dangers of that. I think about the dangers all the time. And then the day goes by, and then I stop caring. That's it. How long does it last? I don't know. It goes back to the very first thing I said. I do not know how long it lasts. The question is, can it go back to where it hurts? Sure. Anything hurts. Dan made a great video the other day talking about his collection. When his initial seed fund that he bought the hobby, he was buying, one of the very first things he did was I was gonna say Phantasmal Forces. God. Not Flashfire. Not Plasma Storm. Oh my god. Why can't I think? Maybe it's just getting late. Maybe my brain is just fried. I can't even think. What did he buy? Not. Phantom Forces. There we go. My brain, it just took a couple neurons of fire. But Phantom Forces is what he talked about when he got back into the hobby. He bought a couple cases, but he was turning and burning. But his initial seed money in the hobby was $5,000. And it was either a question of would it have made more sense to buy a bunch of cases of that with the $5,000, or would it have made more sense to just keep flipping everything and turning it, burning it? Which one made more sense? And then he said, actively works way over. And is there any way that Dan, right now, today, could ever get back to $5,000? And I would say, without the apocalypse happening, no, Dan can never get back to that initial 5,000 because it's just been flipped and repeated and rinsed and repeated so many times. To ever get back to that initial $5,000 entry is impossible. And I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat in a way. Like, could I ever get back to a point where it really hurts me? And it's like, again, minus apocalyptic scenarios, I think I'm fine. How long does it last? I don't know. I'm at the point where me and Dan have had a lot of conversations about this, and I've had conversations with other people in the hobby too, and it's like, if you're not making as much as you are today, are you okay with that? And it's like, yes. And it's like, are you willing to make half what you're making? And the answer is like, yes. And it's like, are you willing to make a quarter of what you're making? And the answer is like, maybe. You know, we're kind of getting to that sort of scenario where it's just, everybody should be doing so well in this hobby. I say this all the time, like, you know, very soon I'm going to have a video coming out. I pre-recorded. So I don't know if you guys watch Mr. Beast. So Mr. Beast just had a pre-recorded video that came out where I think it was like him 5 or 10 years in the future, and it was like him in high school or something, talking about hoping he would have 1 million subscribers. I have a pre-recorded video that's coming out from when this channel was new. Obviously, this channel didn't start until 2020, but it comes out in like 5 or 6 months. And the newest set at the time of recording the video was Battle Styles. And I pre-recorded a video saying where I thought the hobby was going to be. And I released the first part 5 years ago. And here we are, October. I got November, December, January, February, March, or whatever. It was or maybe Chill and Rain was out. I know Evolving Skies hadn't come out yet. So it was Battle Styles was out, Chill and Rain was out, but Evolving Skies hadn't been released. So it actually could be like 6 months from now. So Evolving Skies was August 27th, 2021. I don't remember a lot of release dates, but I remember Battle Styles. So August 27th. So it at least is before August 27th. So within the next 8 months to 9 months, a pre-recorded video that's going to come out where I wrote myself a letter and I talked about my excitement for the next 5 years in the hobby. And I remember at the time, Battle Styles booster boxes were like 80 or 90 bucks or whatever. And like I made like a little care package for myself to open 5 years in the future. And I can't wait to go and read that letter to you. And like that's the thing. People are going to be like, if everybody believed in it, it's like, no. There were people out there that truly, truly believed in it. There were people like me who wrote a letter to themselves, addressed to themselves, that do not open for 5 years. And I can't wait for that video to come out. And I already have the first part of it. It's on my channel. You got to go back and find it though. But like, I owe so much to this hobby. Changed my life. But it goes to like, don't be sad Pokemon Modern Investing is over. It's not over. It hasn't even really began yet. My good friend Josh, the old card shop, he asked a question. It's always hard, like, to realize you're living in the moment of something special. Like, just taking a little bit of time and just realizing, like, what's going on is very special. And maybe I just become this now perma bull, and I talk about this a lot on just my Fanatics lives and stuff. When we have a little downtime and I'm just talking to the camera, I tell people all the time, and I just say to them, I'm like, when I grew up, I went to the Pokemon League at Toys R Us, and my mom brought me along, and it was about me. Like, my mom was nice. She took me along, but she wasn't excited about Pokemon like I was. And I buy my kids like Paw Patrol toys. I'll pretend like I like Paw Patrol, but I don't care about Paw Patrol. But I'm like engaging in it with my kids to like make them happy. Pokemon is different. You now have something where it used to just be you. Pokemon has now become cross-generational. Talk about this a lot. And a lot of people have a very similar story to me. You probably were into Pokemon at some point, whether you were into Pokemon from base set to Skyridge, or you in it between the Nintendos, or the Platinums, or the Heart Gold, Silvers, or the Diamond and Pearls, or the Black and Whites, or the XYs, or the Sun and Moon, or the Sword and Shield, or the Scarlet and Violet, or maybe you're just getting in on the Megas, right? Like at some point, a lot of people have a similar story that they were in Pokemon and then they left. Maybe they just grew out of Pokemon. And there's very, very few people in my life that I've ever met that stuck around with Pokemon from the day it was released to now. Shout out to Pokemon Classics. With the exception of Matt, I don't know anyone in my personal life who was engaged with Pokemon pretty much from the time it released and never left. Matt's an exception. With the exception of Pokemon Classics, I don't really know anyone. Even Joe Echo Base Collectibles. Even Joe, while he was deep into Pokemon in a timeline that I was not around and a lot of my friends were not around, like exactly like that Nintendo timeline. So Ruby Sapphire, the Power Keepers, he was playing the game. He was going to Worlds. He was actually in it. He was really, really in it. With the exception of him, I don't even know a lot of people that were in that timeline, but even Joe left at one point. And Joe always kicks himself and he looks back on it and he says, man, if I could go back and have anything back, I would just never have left. And Joe's been transparent, and I'm sure everybody out there, like, if I wish I never left. I got back because of call it a Black Swan event of just literally having a ton of time on my hands working at a job in North Dakota, living in a man camp where I had a weird schedule where I had 15 days on, 6 days off. And it was just me reliving stuff with my Sony Vaio computer. Like, it's a black swan event that maybe I never had that job. Maybe I work a normal 9 to 5 and I don't just have all this time to myself to try to relive things from my past and buy something as simple as a base set Raichu and whatever my re-entry story is. And everyone has a re-entry story. We're moving out of that. I think it's going to become way more normal for high school kids to like Pokemon. When I was in high school, that would have been unheard of. I don't know anyone personally. I didn't even know of anyone who liked Pokemon. Now, I hear about kids in high school ripping packs and enjoying this and all age demographics, and it's cool, and the people are not growing out of it. But more importantly than all that, going back to what I said about I don't like Paw Patrol, now you have kids today creating lifelong memories with their parents. And some of those lifelong memories, core memories, are surrounded by Pokemon. When I go back and I think about all the memories I have between maybe the ages of 4 to 10, maybe 20. And maybe I could get higher than that, but I would have to sit down and like write it down and think about what my memories are between an age of 4 to 10. But then when I do think of those very, very small memories, they're always so special. You have kids creating those type of special memories today with their parents. Today. And it's like, and you think about that, that's from 4 to 10. First of all, that's over 100% of your life from the age of 4 to 10, because it's from 4 years to 6 years. You've increased it over 100% of your entire lifespan on Earth. And at the end of the day, all your memories are just boiled down to a handful of core memories in that entire period of your life. And then going before 4 years old, you might have very few, if any, memories. When I said maybe I had 20 memories, maybe it goes down to like 5. Like, how many memories do you have preschool? The answer probably for some people, gets to 0. And now we have core memories being built and a cross-generational IP. It's like, with all this stuff going on, do I see Pokemon downturn? And it's like, no. Do I think Pokemon is something that I could do with my kids from now until they're older? Yeah, I do. And I never would have thought that was possible. Now, I bring up this question on every single live, and I promise you it gets super, super old, and I completely understand that it's like, PK, come on, you're just repeating yourself. I know I am, but listen. It's the one question that, in a metaphoric way, keeps me up at night. Trust me, I get to sleep like a baby. I'm always tired. That's my secret, remember? Like the Incredible Hulk in the movie The Avengers, when he's like, my secret is I'm always angry, and then he punches the thing. My secret is I'm just always tired. I'm like the Incredible Hulk, but instead of always being angry, I'm just always tired. But the thing that, in a way, keeps me up at night, and I ask this question all the time, what if we are actually early to Pokemon? What if this, and I ask that every week, and I'm trying to ask the question because I want to hammer that point down to you, and I ask you guys, and I talk about booster boxes, and the prices obviously have gone up in the last couple months, but how many times have you heard me say a thing like, do I think that X booster box is at the highest price it will ever be at? And from now until foreverness, into the end of days, that booster box is never at that dollar amount today. Or do I see that booster box not being at its all-time highest? Because if that's a conversation you're having, that Pokemon is in this bubble and that it's getting ready to pop, the question is, are so many products at their all-time highs? And yeah, you could go back to 2020, you could look at your first edition Eevees and your first edition Pikachu. Do you want to know what? We will get back to where those are not all-time high sales. And I know it sounds crazy, even on cards like that. If you told me tomorrow that a first edition Pikachu or Eevee gets close to those prices, I'm going to start to believe it. The amount of liquidity that exists in the hobby is just preposterous. It's just preposterous. Like, there are frictional costs that come with Pokemon. Make no mistake about it. There's a lot of frictional costs. Seller's fees, moving product, time. Time's a big thing. Like, if I didn't have to ever wait on anything, if everything was just instant, like, instant, oh, you want to buy this? Sold, 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 sold. If sold was just like that, which it's getting more like that, where it's just sold, 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 and it's becoming more and more liquid, and the, frictional fees and the frictional transactions are becoming less and less and less and less and less and less. That is happening, but there's still a shipping aspect to it. If you're grading cards, you're buying the cards, you're waiting for the card to be shipped to you, you're pre-grading it, you're sending it out, you have to wait for the submission to be received, you have to wait for it to be imaged, you have to wait for it to be graded, then you have to wait for your grades to drop, then you have to wait to pay for it, and then you have to wait for it item to be shipped back to you, and then when you get it back, then you have to open the package, then you have to image unless you use in scans, maybe depending on the grading company you're using, then you have to list the card to yourself, or if you aren't listed on major platforms, maybe you are doing mystery products. If you're not doing mystery products, maybe you're doing in-person vending. There's a lot of frictional stuff that happens in there, and where it's not just sold, money in bank, done. It doesn't work like that. So a lot of Pokemon right now is just turning and burning, and it's almost as if we've gotten to the point of so many aspects of this hobby are just single gears of a clock. Gears, single gears. Just imagine all the little gears that takes in order for a clock to work. And that is just all these aspects of the hobby. It's just a bunch of little gears, and every one of them is turning. And maybe some of them are turning, independently. Some of them are turning in conjunction. But at the end of the day, the clock is working. And do you want to know the best part of all that? Even when one of those gears breaks, a broken clock is still right twice a day. So no matter what happens, you can still be right twice a day. That is a perfect sum up of this hobby. It's just all this stuff constantly moving, and it takes a lot. It takes a large level of effort. It takes a lot of determination. I think people don't realize the effort that is involved, or the effort that is sometimes required or necessary. There's different levels of this hobby. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to pretend like this channel is for everyone. This channel is not for everyone. It's just not. This is for a very special type of person, and it's just, this channel is for somebody who's in it. That's what this is. This channel is made for somebody who's really, really in it, who lives by this shit day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, second after second. It's a constant. And I've also come to a harsh realization that the people who get it, and the people that don't, just don't. I'll do whatever I can to get those people to understand. But I've also just come to that realization that there's just some people that understand, and then some people that don't. But these videos aren't made for the people that don't understand it. Does that make sense? I don't like the "I told you so" videos. I don't think those do any justice. But then after a while, I think that maybe they do, because maybe the "I told you so" videos are needed just to show that this can become a reality for so many people. Snowies, I love you too, buddy. Appreciate the super chat. And just showing if you believe in something enough, if you have enough conviction, and you do things the right way, and you do things ethically, and you believe in it, and you believe in yourself, you believe in the hobby, but then you gotta also believe in the people around you too. That's the big thing. I think people surround themselves with people that are just not beneficial for them. You gotta surround yourself with people that are beneficial for you, and you just gotta do it together. You gotta do it day after day, and just make it happen. And you can. You can. How do we get so lucky? I ask myself this question all the time. It's what's that saying? It's when preparation meets something. I don't even know. There's too many sayings. There's too many sayings. I guess there's only one saying that matters. To quote the great Dominic Toretto, doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning's winning. And I feel like, to quote the great Dominic Toretto, he is right. Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning, so I guess we're winning. Do we keep winning? Maybe. Do we eventually start losing? Maybe. And that's the question. It's like, when we stop winning, I don't believe in absolutes. I don't believe in I don't believe in all or nothing. I don't believe in that. I just don't believe in absolutes. I think there's just a fine line in between. And I talked about this a while ago. You got to put yourself in a position where you could flourish. And if you go back a long is subjective, right? When I started doing Fanatics with Dan, and we started doing the live selling and everything, and I started going really hard, and I went and quit my job, and I can't wait for my 1 year anniversary. Is going to be coming up pretty soon, February 1st, where I've officially been full time for 1 year. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to make a video. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait to do a recap. But I made videos, and people probably thought I was crazy, but it was just, you need to start establishing yourselves now. And that's the crazy thing too, is if we are still early, you still have time to start establishing yourself. And it's like, how are you going to establish yourself? It's like, I had one simple goal in mind when it came to Fanatics. It's like, I just wanted to be the top Pokemon stream. That's what I wanted. I was so driven, so determined to just do whatever I had to do to make that a reality. And we are. And it's not even close. We're the #1 stream on the platform. Now, does that last forever? Listen, forever's a long time. I don't believe in absolutes. I don't believe in stuff like that. So forever's a long time, but what can I do? I can only do what I could control. And the only thing I can control is to do everything in my ability to make sure that we are in both the short term and the long term. And that's going to take a lot of effort. And I'm willing to do it. I believe so much in this hobby. And maybe you believe in everything because you could just see it. And it just stops being this thought. It becomes a reality. And to live in a reality like that, like, I wouldn't change that for the world. How are you going to change a reality? And the beautiful thing about this reality is you created it for yourself. It's like you get to create your own reality. Yes. In Pokemon, you get to create your own reality. There's people living their whole lives who don't get to create their own realities. They always got to live in other people's realities. They never get a chance to create their own. And they just go through life as robots. And they're just NPCs. They're NPCs in this world, which is the Matrix. They never create anything. And they never create their own reality. They probably go through life and they just live this shitty-ass life. And every day. And they just say, well, what if? What if? What if I could change it? What if I could do something about it? And then just something stops them. There's always, listen, life is full of excuses. I'm just fucking tired of that shit. I'm just tired of excuses. It's just like, do or do not. You know? Yoda was right. Do or do not. There is no try. It's just do or do. Or do or don't. Just do or do. Do or do. Right? That's all. And at the end of the day, everything burns around me and everything crashes and burns and everything just goes to absolute shit and the market just crashes and we are done and everything I know, everything I believed in just falls apart. At the end of the day, I get to stand there and said, I gave it my best. I tried my best. And it's like, you guys ever played sports in high school? Even sometimes when, like, you know, it's a team game. If you lose a game, sometimes you still felt like you won because you could stand on the field and said, I left nothing on the field. I gave it my all. I did everything I could. And you know what? We still lost. And it is what it is. And those losses are so much easier to swallow than when you're standing on that field and you took a loss and you look around and you said, man, I shouldn't have took that play off. I shouldn't have slacked on that. Man, when the fourth quarter came around, I took off a lot of plays. Why did I do that? Why did I take off a play? Why? Maybe if I just left it all on the field, maybe the outcome would have been different. I don't ever want that second scenario. I want that first scenario. I want to stand on the field and say, I gave it my all. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that in this hobby, but that in life, that in just a pursuit. And it's a pursuit of so many different things for so many people. And maybe it's just this absolute pursuit of happiness. And I think people live their lives without just pursuing happiness. I don't know what happened that I got to take something which was a hobby of mine, a hobby, something that I would go to work every day and do a job which at the time I thought maybe I loved the job, but when hindsight came in and Captain Hindsight, my man bats 1,000, and I look back on it, I'm like, I just wasn't happy. And I had to go home and do a hobby that I enjoyed. And I did this hobby for free for so long. I put so many hours into it for nothing and got nothing back from it. Well, I shouldn't say that. I did get stuff back. I got enjoyment. It made me the person I am, made me happy. But now I have to go and every day just do what I enjoy. What do I do? I go and I talk about Pokemon cards all day. I get to look at cool graded cards. And I get to look at cool singles. And I get to open up packs. And I get to open up the most modern set. I get to open up the most modern set in amounts of packs that no normal person could ever do because I get to open up from multiple people. It's like, that's what I do? I did that shit for free forever. In fact, I paid to do that stuff. I literally used to pay to do what I now do. Does that make sense? I literally used to pay for that ability. Like to open up a booster box. But now I just get to live vicariously through so many people, and I live in this reality that I guess created for myself. I get to live in a reality where I get to just be happy doing that. And I get to experience other people's joys. And that's a thing too. And finding happiness in other people's happiness too. That's the best feeling. It's crazy. It's crazy. When people say, oh, PK, your videos lately, they're crazy. And it's like, they're crazy because I have to wake up every day and pinch myself and ask myself one simple question. Is this real life? I'm always worried that I'm just going to wake up in some alternate reality and it's all going to just be some crazy PK fever dream. And I got to sit there and lay in bed. You know, I think, you ever seen the end of the Bob Newhart show? Where he looks over and it's his wife in bed and he's like, that was a crazy dream. I'm afraid one day I'm going to wake up in some single bedroom apartment and I'm just going to, my whole life to this point has just been some crazy fever dream. And I move over and I look at my wife and I go, you'll never believe the dream I just have. Like, that's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear in life. That all this is just not real. So every day, I gotta wake up. I gotta pinch myself. And every day, I watch this hobby. And every day, I watch as prices in everything just goes up. Every day, I look forward to a new Z&G Instagram post to say, is this real? Is any of this real? We're lucky. Don't take this for granted, chat. Understand that whatever happened, whatever crazy series of events led up to this moment, because you got to keep this in mind. every single decision, every single choice, every single action you have ever done for your entire life, your entire time living on this earth, your entire time as it being the being that you are. Everything has led up to this moment. Well, this moment right now, you're listening to me. Every decision you've ever made in your life, somehow, some chain of events has led up to this moment. And it's just like every day, look at that and say, I can't let this one just slip through my fingers. You just can't. You just can't, chat. And this hobby has changed so much for so many people. This is it. This is my character arc. I don't want to be, I don't know. Maybe I was an NPC for too long. Maybe I'm making my own reality. Maybe I'm living it. Maybe it's too good. Maybe it'll all come to an end. Maybe it will keep going. Talk about this before. Somebody asked a question, a great question. It was a great question somebody asked in the chat. And they said, PK, where do you see yourself in 20 years from now? I believe probably like a month or two. Somebody asked that question in chat. And during the live, I gave the answer. I said, you know what? I don't think about stuff like that anymore when it comes to long term. I don't think about where am I going to be in 20 years from now. I answered it. It's a dark answer, but there's going to be a lot of like gains, but there's going to be a lot of losses in the next couple years. And I talk about it all the time. I say, all I think I'm going to care about in 20 years from now is I think I'm just going to care about people's legacies in this hobby. Legacies. What a deep term, your legacy. What does that mean? So few of us will ever get an opportunity where we could leave a lasting legacy. But I think you can. I think everyone can. And time. It's all about time. And it's just proving it day after day after day. And I wonder, in 20 years from now, God forbid something happened to me. It's like, when people talk back on me, how do they look at like my legacy? How do people talk about me? And every day you have to earn whatever that conversation will someday be, or whatever somebody will say about you. That is not something that is given. That is something that is earned. You have to do it day after day. You just have to do it. And you have to build your own legacy. And nobody's going to build it for you. You have to build it yourself. And it's going to take time and effort. I think it's going to be so rewarding. So back to this topic of this video. If we are early, who's better than us? And you know what? And if we're not early, oh well. You gave it your all. You left everything out on the field. Get to put your head up, and you just get to go back to just living like it was. I never had a bad life my whole life. So my worst case scenario is I go back to a good life. I'm living a great life right now. This Pokemon has afforded me that, has given me that. But worst case scenario is I just go back. What do I go back to my awesome job with an awesome title? Like, I look at it and it's like, what fulfills you? And it's like, the first two things that fulfill me most is my family is number one, my friends are number two, and then my job fulfills me. It's my number three. And it's like, if you could check off those three boxes and you're just fulfilled every day, it's like, who is better than you in that moment? And it's just awesome. Every day is awesome. It's this video, though. It's this hobby. Should we just do the norm? Should we go look at... Should we look at this? Should we just go do as is tradition? We'll steal Jim's content. James, you gotta pick up your slack a little bit, James. James is not putting any new things for PK. What the heck is going on? We got base set hollow. Nidokings hollow. H-O-L-O. This is considered a chase in a base set pack, or regular trainer cards selling for more than said hollow. I guess that's real life. So okay, that's the hollows are not the chases. Remember that when you are opening a base set pack, please, everybody out there, keep in mind, you do not get excited when you see the hollow. We have been, and this I've now learned, I have been doing the card trick wrong for a very, very long time. I've accidentally been saving the hollow as the last pull when I should have been saving my trainers as, well, yeah, making sure. Yeah, so I messed up. Been doing the card trick all wrong. Good, taking notes. What? WTF, what the flying fuck is this? Sketch Premium. Does anybody realize this is not a Pokemon artist? This is literally somebody whose sketch is authenticated. If you guys want to see some shilling, like fake, you want to believe the hobby is, people always like, oh, PK, you always talk like there's all these market manipulators, there's people shilling this hobby. Go read some of the comments some of the people are writing on there. There's people with so much wildly vested interest in shit like this. Like, go read the comments. There are people shilling out their fucking ass. I'm gonna tell you what I think happened. I think somebody bid on this card, saw a PSA like authenticated artist with a potential Japanese sounding name, saw an awesome artwork, and I honestly believe that the person that bought this card honestly thought it was just a Pokemon artist. This is gonna get crazy dark super fast. Right now we're living in the moment. Like, if you are a good artist and your name is now authenticated by PSA, like, hey, PokeRev, hey, CTR, is your name authenticated yet? Any of my friends whose names are authenticated by PSA, maybe you guys should start drawing on cards. What the flying fuck is going on? Do you know how crazy this is? This is preposterous. This is not, it's not like it's a Pokemon artist. This is just a random dude who is authenticated. So listen, somebody once said to me as a joke, they were like, hey PK, can we get your name through the PSA system? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. They did. They went through the whole process, and then PSA wanted like all this information from me, wanted like my address and my government name, and like they wanted a lot of stuff, which I was like, ooh, that's a little weird. But like somebody actually tried to go through. Oh my god, I made the biggest mistake in the world. Can you imagine? At PK, and I just pay some dude of mine who's a fantastic artist. I'm like, hey, can you just draw a bunch of Gengars on this card and a bunch of Charizards, and I'm going to sell it through a weekly auction, and maybe somebody's going to buy this card not knowing that PK is actually, I mean, Unagaba is the name of an artist. People know Unagaba because of the Unagabas, but he only has the evolutions and the Pikachu. Now, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Does this make sense? You guys can say this dude is the greatest. I'm telling you what I think happened is whoever bought this card just honestly thought that this was a Pokemon artist. That's what I honestly just believe happened. That they saw this at auction. They saw the PSA cert. They don't know artists' names. They don't know who this is. And they were just like, oh, this is a... Okay. Awesome art. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here telling you that's not fucking cool. Those Gengars on there, that looks awesome. no shot to the artist. That looks freaking awesome. And the unfortunate reality is we probably could never get a Rita or Sugimori or anyone to ever do art like that. Like that's probably the unfortunate reality, is that our actual Pokemon artists that all of us know and love would probably never actually spend the time to do such cool artwork for us. And if they did, it would have a crazy premium. But unfortunately, they're usually real quick hand sketches, because there's usually a line of 300 other people standing behind us waiting to have an artist. I'm not knocking the artwork itself. It's awesome. But there's a lot of people out there could draw. I mean, I knew kids who used to have their 5-star, college rule notebooks in high school, used to draw artwork like this, and they would just sit in math class all day, like, drawing awesome shit. I know a lot of people could make very cool artwork very similar to this. What the fuck? But I'm telling you, I just think the buyer saw awesomeness and said, I'm buying it. And they're like, oh my god, this is not a Pokemon artist. This is just a random dude whose name is certified by PSA. That's my rant on that. What else? Confirm paid. Pristine 10s, huh? Holding a premium. What a world. Look at that. $410 July 20th. Fast forward a couple months later. Over double. Over double. Thanks, James. James, get off your ass. Make more Instagram posts so I can please steal your content for my content and call it my own. Alright. With that said, we got Shake. Shake says, we crying. Shake, we always crying. Number one mod in the game. Drew says, hey PK, hey PK. Jonathan Flint, good to see you, buddy. Bo knows all. Bo knows, I love it. Bo Jackson. If Bo Jackson never got hurt, NFL and MLB, great. I sure hope so. We get back to collecting. We'd love to put together a master set of Mega with some good old... Hey, listen, Bo. Forever's a long time. That's the thing. If you guys want to put master sets together, you have nothing but time. Take your time. You have 24 hours a day. There's only 2 days in your life, unfortunately, that you don't have 24 hours. It's the day you're born, and unfortunately, the day you die. But other than that, every single day you live, you're going to have 24 hours a day, Bo. You're going to have plenty of time to put together all these master sets. You do not have to make your master set of Mega Evolutions. You do not have to make it a week within release. You're fine. Or a month within release. Give it time. Slowly pick up cards. Keep adding cards. And if you're just doing a binder collection, you got nothing but time, my friend. We got Big Gold Blapperus. Good to see you, Chevs. What's up, Tap? Member for 12 months. Yamamoto says, you can forever clickbait me, PK. I'm always doing my best. Tab says, how about that 40 minutes heads up on Destined Rivals for Pokemon Center? Yeah, that's a crazy thing, too. Pokemon Center had this big restock at Destined Rivals. I still didn't get any tap. I was busy. I went up so I didn't go into the queue, but I had clicked on the link. That's it. We got Son of Mewtwo. I appreciate you, buddy. Let's see. Son of Mewtwo, I got to the point where you gifted all the membership. Chev says, BK is the definition of all in. I am all in. Tab says, I don't want to make a Fanatics account. You're just leaving money on the table. You get free credits right there. Wait. Yamamoto says, I thought I did something sending 100. Did you send something? Send 100? No, you didn't. Lose my mind. Wait. Just want to make sure. Alright, we're good. We're good. I got nervous for a second. Yeah. I just got to the bottom. Big Gold Blapper says, PK, whoa. That's no random guy. That's Squints for a second. That's Modova. What is his name? Modova? Whatever his name is. Yeah. Alright, chat. With that said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you a cool story. The other day, I actually found some spare time, which I don't have a lot of spare time, but I found some time. I don't know where it came from, but I pulled it out. Uh, watched. I saw on Netflix that Halo Season 2 came out. I never watched Halo Season 1. I didn't even know there was a Halo Season 1. And just on a whim, I decided to watch Episode 1, Season 1 of Halo. It is so good. How did I must have heard in the past that it was not a good show. It's a very good show. I was very, very surprised. So I've been binge watching Halo. I think I've already made it to like episode 6 or 7 on the first season. Like every available moment I get, I've just been watching Halo. And now I'm looking forward to the season 2. No clue that was even a show. Like I don't know how that fell off my radar. Highly recommend because me and my wife we actually just finished up Wednesday. We finished up season 2. It came out in like 2 parts, 4 episodes, 4 episodes. I started watching Halo. My wife woke up, started watching the show, like in bed with me because I was watching in bed. She was sleeping. I was watching it. She started watching. Even my wife likes it. I can't get my wife to watch any shows with me. Like, forget about it. That. Is just as a married couple, the hardest thing you're ever gonna try to do is just find a show you both like. It's impossible. She likes it. Wild. Never would have thought it. That's my tangent for the night. With that said, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Be safe. Go watch Halo. If you like it, thank me. If you don't like it, then just pretend I didn't say anything. With that said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. If you guys ever want to hang out with me, ask me any questions. I'm live on Fanatics pretty soon, and up as soon as I get the okay. I would have been live tonight, but I haven't got the okay to be live tonight. 16 times a week, I'm going to be live pretty soon, so you'll know where to find me. With that said, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Please, everyone out there, be happy, be healthy, be well, but most importantly,